Bitcoin and Ethereum are stuck moving sideways, which means they can only do one of two things. Either explode to the upside or absolutely eat big doo-doo to the downside. That's what we got to figure out today. So where are we going? Should you be buying or should you be selling? Let's look into it.
If you're looking for the next 100x crypto project to buy into, you have come to the right place. My name is Fous, and I have been a professional day trader for nearly 20 years. I deposited $20,000 into an account, and in just over a year, it's now worth nearly $2 million. On this channel, I'm going to present to you the best altcoins to buy, such as getting into Mana before it ripped 595%, getting into Dogecoin before it ran 15,000%. So if you want to hear about all the best trade opportunities first, hit that subscribe button, and more importantly, turn on the notifications bell so you can get these time-sensitive trade ideas immediately when my new videos go live.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Again, this is not financial advice, just me predicting the future every fucking time. But let's see if I can do it again. As of right now, guys, we are in kind of a holding pattern. Bitcoin and Ethereum, as I have been calling for the past month and a half, that Ethereum is getting ready for a 50% pump. Guess what? We already did it. Ethereum actually ran 76%. Big question is it over? Is it time to sell the bags, or do we have more upside? The truthful answer is I'm not exactly quite sure. There's some different things we got to look at to kind of gauge where we're at in the markets. If we're judging by looking at Ethereum, we already went through the bulk of the move that's going to happen here. We're already at these peak resistant levels that we were shooting for with this consolidation here, spike, 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 again right here, right around 1800. And now we have halted again at this level, which is not good for the longs because we have already capitalized on this big move to the upside. And if we look at the Ethereum dominance chart, Ethereum dominance has this absolutely crushed over the past week. When you see Ethereum dominance crush, it basically means Ethereum ripped and everything else did absolutely fucking nothing, which is not entirely true. We did take advantage of a lot of altcoins that made some big upsides, but they didn't break out. Ethereum made a big breakout. If we look at, like, for instance, Wild, we did take a huge advantage of this trade here on that initial run, right? Wild broke out when Ethereum broke out, had a massive run to the upside. Ethereum hit new highs, so did Wild, right? So Wild hit our fourth profit target just today, actually, giving us a total gain from our entry of about 127% from our buy alert that we alerted in the Telegram group here. This was July 14th, long at 0.24. On Wild. Wild now hit a high of 0.52 cents, which is about 127% total gain, hitting all our profit targets. If you want to get in the Telegram group, link's going to be below for all my buys and sells with profit targets and stop levels included. So a lot of trades did make that move, but actually the majority of coins that are in the altcoin space never made that kind of move, right? Such as ENJ. I actually just sold for profit here, about $4,000 profit on this because it's consolidating a pattern, but didn't break out to the upside of these patterns like Ethereum did. Mana, same thing, consolidating sideways. It didn't break out to the upside like Ethereum did. So it's just lagging. They're doing fucking absolutely nothing. I sold Mana today for a small gain. I sold Sand for a $5,000 loss today because it's doing fucking nothing, while Ethereum is just sitting up near this resistance level, potentially getting ready to pull back. So I'm trying to limit my exposure to the overall market right now because I don't like the fact that we are at a peak level for Ethereum up here, which has been the market leader in crypto. And so if the market leader starts pulling back, what do you think is going to happen to the rest of the crypto market? It's all going to pull back with it. Now, if we look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is kind of doing what a lot of the altcoins are doing. It's not making any big major moves to the upside. What it's basically doing is, yes, it broke out of this channel here to the upside right about here, but it's kind of just not making new highs. It's kind of just staggering in this level here within this actual channel. The real overall pattern that we're looking at right now is, yes, it did break out of this channel, but it's now in this bearish flag within the overall bearish channel of the market. And it's not really doing that much, right? It's kind of on the upper level now of this flag, which it's pulling back to baseline in the middle, which could also pull back to the lower boundary of this level as well, right? And ideally what I would like to see on Bitcoin, of which we need to see if we want to see any more movement in our altcoins across the space, is it needs to come back up and retest these levels here on Bitcoin, which is basically what Ethereum already did, right? If we look at the Ethereum chart, it already made that massive run, 76% right into that horizontal breakdown level, of which Bitcoin similarly had that same level, but this rally was super weak for Bitcoin and never made it up there. There's two scenarios here. One is that Bitcoin has a lot more room to run to actually make it up to that level, which is a good thing. Problem is the current market leader, Ethereum, as we can indicate that by the Ethereum dominance. Look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin has not done shit. This means that everything else is running and Bitcoin is doing absolutely fucking nothing. Bitcoin has a lot of upside, but the market leader is at a resistance level, which would indicate a pullback. And if we pull back in Ethereum, probably going to pull back across the board in all the altcoins, that I don't want to see a massive pullback in my portfolio because Ethereum starts dumping. Secondly, let's take a look at US 30. This is nearing the resistance level, of which I talked about in the last video, right? We're coming back up into this bearish channel, into resistance, right? So you don't buy out resistance, guys, right? You lock in gains at resistance. So that also is very concerning to me, to be loaded up on altcoins when the US stock market is coming into a level of very heavy resistance. As I said before, I want to see this break out above this level, create a bull trap, and then eat shit again. So we're nearing those levels in the US stock market, as well as the NASDAQ 100, right? We're in my profit zone, right? We are talking about a NASDAQ down here saying, hey, I think we're going to rally up into this level about 10, 12%. Guess what? We're already there now in a level of resistance, which makes me concerned about the crypto market in general. US 30 is at resistance. NASDAQ 100 is at resistance. Ethereum is at resistance. Bitcoin is not at major resistance, but it is failing to break out as well as at the resistance of this actual channel here. Okay, so overall, the probability is suggesting it's more of looking like a better short at the moment than a long in a short-term perspective. That doesn't mean that we can't bull flag here and continue breaking in the upside, but right, we just ran 76% in 3 weeks on Ethereum, right into a resistance level. Okay, that is not an area where you start loading the boat in the market. That is where you start locking in your gains. Another thing here, DXY. The US dollar has been basically been going a mirror of what the US stock market is doing, right? US dollar index DXY rips, market falls. US dollar index falls, US stocks rip. And it's also the inverse of gold, of which I just locked in $5,000 gain on my gold trade today. Also locked in $114,000 profit on USD JPY short because I took advantage of this short. We're also now nearing support. Nearing support of the 50-day moving average here on the DXY, as well as the support of the ascending channel. Okay, so coming into a dip buying area on DXY. Dip buying support on DXY, resistance level on US 30, resistance level Ethereum, resistance level NASDAQ 100. Can I say that it is the best buying opportunity? I can't, but there are a lot of altcoins setting up in very bullish patterns right now. My only concern is that they're happening when the general markets are at resistance. If the markets don't absolutely eat shit, here are the top plays in the altcoin space that are setting up in beautiful charts, beautiful looking fucking charts. And I'm really annoyed that the general markets have gone on absolute tears and a lot of these coins have not. So one is ENJ, which I locked in $4,000 profit on today. I was hoping to see this consolidate here, break out of this level about 60 cents, and it's going an absolute tear up to $1, just like Ethereum did, but it did not. So now we have these new levels up here, of which is now going to be consolidating in this pattern. But overall, this is a revival pattern on ENJ, which is still in consolidation. We could still definitely bounce back and forth in this level, consolidate, and potentially break out over 70 cents, and that would trigger a move to $1 per coin. Mana also consolidating here. I sold this for a small gain today because it has continually failed to break out over $1 for me. My profit target was about $1.30, but yesterday it did jack shit. 2 days ago, it failed to break it over $1 and now it's still consolidating. I sold it for a small profit, but I'm still watching because I do think there definitely is still potential here on Mana. I like Mana. It's one of the top metaverse plays. Sand. I also love the chart here. It's pre-breakout, still undetermined. All the markets are at resistance levels. And so I took a $5,000 loss on this today because I'm not sure what's going to happen and I'm fearful of Ethereum seeing a pullback, right? I don't know if it is. Ethereum could just continually bull flag here and then shred to the upside and right to 2K, of which that's definitely a possibility. I can definitely still potentially get back into Sand if the market starts stabilizing and we start moving forward and the pattern here on Sand continually plays out. I'm still watching ENJ, Mana, Sand, as well as I sold Solana today for $4,000 profit as well. Kind of indifferent about this pattern right here. Okay, still inside of this channel. I'm still bullish on Mana, Sand, and Solana, but I locked in gains on all those except for Sand. I took the loss. So that brings me to the plays that I'm now currently still in, which is one, GMT. Still a pre-breakout pattern here that fails continually to break out over $1, but the fact remains that this is a beautiful freaking revival pattern. And if this consolidates and breaks out over $1.11, this could see an easy 30 to 100% rip all the way up to $2 per coin. The problem is you have to align your altcoin trades with what's going on in the market. And what's going on in the market is that Ethereum just went on a 76% run and it's now at resistance. GMT has done nothing but stay flat, which means that it's not going to go up much more unless Ethereum makes another big run. And Ethereum already made the bulk of its move. If Ethereum dumps, this is definitely going to dump. But Ethereum went on a 76% run and it stayed sideways. So that's a problem. But overall, the chart is still intact, still in structure. And so I'm still long on GMT. Next one is SHIB. The SHIB army continually fails to break out over 0.00125 and in this range right here. But overall, similar pattern here again, guys. Revival, consolidation, pre-breakout, still getting whipsawed here throughout the, there was the CPI numbers here, then there was the GDP numbers here, which just kind of made it difficult for a lot of altcoins to see any fall through. But overall, very bullish pattern here forming on SHIB. I'm still long. I got a 6-figure position on SHIB at the moment, and I definitely think there could be at least a 20% rip if this does break out over this level, potentially upwards of a 100% gainer up to the next major resistance level, which is almost a double from here. Definitely still bullish on SHIB at the current time. People might be like, oh, you said you were bullish yesterday. Listen, if the market fucking dumps today, then I'm not bullish anymore. It all matters what's going on with the charts. When the chart's talking, it pays to listen. That's all that matters across the board. What I say today can drastically change to what I say tomorrow based on the fact that new data comes out. It's a new day, new price action is formed, and you have to take it every day at a time and adapt. Moving on to Block, I'm also long BLOK. This thing is down drastically. And if we were talking about this on Friday, what kind of moves that does Block make when it makes rips? 111% run, 162% run. Previously back when we initially traded this, made this for a multiple 100% run. And now we're back here again, extremely depressed in price action and forming up an extremely bullish pattern here on BLOK. So I am currently long Block. Again, we're pre-breakout. So when you're pre-breakout, guys, the pattern is undecided. It's unknown what's going to happen. But I don't like to buy up here when, after the volume's up, it's already, made a 50, 60% run. Then people are debating again. And I'm taking profits when it's up there. So I always buy pre-breakout, anticipating what's going to happen. And I bought in pre-breakout on most of these prior to Ethereum making a 76% run. The problem is a lot of these didn't run in line with the performance of Ethereum. As we can clearly see by the Ethereum dominance chart, Ethereum went on a massive run while everything else stayed still. Bitcoin and a lot of altcoins did absolutely fucking nothing during the same period, other than some of our plays like PYR, which is the next one, of which we took a massive 60% gain on this the first round. Here, locked in our gains, and we bought back again here at about 408. Was up nicely, but now we're back at support. So I'm still currently long PYR as it's back at the trend X support. And I'm hoping to see this break out above the 490s, which would then send us to the next levels of 530, 6, and then these other levels up here. XRP, I started buying the dip under 29 cents. This is a hodl position for me, so not looking to sell this thing anytime soon. I'm more so just looking, I have orders to buy more all the way down to 15 cents. Wild, this is also something that I'm no longer in and locked in all my gains, but this was a 127% rip from our alert. So those are the current positions that I'm in. I'm in GMT, SHIB, Block. I also sold YGG today, but I'm looking to potentially get back in. I sold it, I had to stop just above my entry price. So this thing's fucking annoying because I was up over $20,000 when it was at $1.01. Looking like it was getting ready to break out, but that also happened in the American trading session when I was sleeping because I live in Bali, Indonesia. So I woke up, saw that I was up 20 grand, and then woke up the next day and was back basically to break even. And then I set a stop above my entry about $200. So I locked in $200 profit. And now we're still consolidating pre-breakout. If the market stabilizes and starts showing momentum again, I will easily buy again between, the current price of, 83 cents upwards of $1.03. Any sort of buy range inside of here could potentially be a very solid buy if we break out over 104 to 107 and see a sustained breakout. If you see a breakout in any of these plays, you need to see a consistent move up in the general altcoin or Bitcoin market from there, right? You need to see Bitcoin and Ethereum continually trending up or going on a slow tick up. What you don't want to see is fucking Ethereum making massive fucking single day gains of 15% because the altcoins don't follow that fast, right? You want to see Ethereum and Bitcoin slowly trickle up because that gives the opportunity and confidence for people to continually buy up these moves on the altcoins. But when you see a massive spike in Ethereum, you might see a big spike in the altcoins, but any sort of downtick in Ethereum, people start panicking, start selling all their altcoins. It's a little bit more difficult game, but obviously there's much bigger gains in the altcoin space because that's where we see quick, 100% gains inside of a week or less in the altcoin space, but you also see bigger losses and quicker losses in the altcoin space as well. But anyways, guys, that's the current situation, right? Ethereum is currently at resistance, but we're still bullish trending above Trendex. I think we definitely potentially could reach upwards of 2K here, but there's also the possibility of this potentially being the current short-term top. We're at resistance. There's also Bitcoin, which is still has a lot of upside when we actually look at the chart towards the next major resistance. There's no next major resistance on Bitcoin other than the low here at 26.7 and then this range here between 26.9 here and then the high here of about 32,000. That's kind of the range here. So there's plenty of upside on Bitcoin. Problem again is Ethereum already made the 76% run. US 30 is getting near the level of resistance, of which I do think will probably spike up to about 33K, 33.5. So there's a little bit more upside here, but it's getting very, very tricky and more risky here to be heavily long. Same thing with NASDAQ, already in my profit range here. And again, DXY just had a massive dump off the top of the range. We're now moving back towards the bottom part of the range, of which could be a potential dip buy area. But obviously, if this just breaks down this trend here, it could just keep eating shit, which is also going to push up the entire market of the US 30, NASDAQ, stocks, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all could potentially go up, which is why I'm also still long some of these positions and potentially looking to buy again on Mana, Sand, ENJ, Solana, as well as YGG. So anyways, guys, that's a wrap for today. A little bit of a tricky situation out there because we've already seen the bulk of the move on Ethereum. That's it. If you want to get the Krypton course, teach you everything I know in my past 20 years of trading. It's good stuff. You should check it out. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next one.